SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Are you a business owner looking for help with HR benefits and payroll? MWG Employer Services offers a wide range of services and can create a custom plan that fits your needs and budget.
I was so overwhelmed with HR stuff. MWG Employer Services took all the stress out of it and even set up my payroll. I couldn't be happier. MWG
Employer Services is here to help you succeed. Call us today at 601-206-7966 or go to MWGEmployerServices.com.
You're listening to Sports Talk Mississippi On Demand, presented by Pearl River Resort. Escape to Choctaw, Mississippi and enjoy world-class gaming, the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, and Geyser Falls Water Park. Escape to Pearl River Resort.
Sports Talk Mississippi is on the air. Sports Talk Mississippi is powered by C-Spire. Power your home or business with C-Spire Fiber. To learn more, visit supertalk.fm/C-Spire. C-Spire Fiber powers SuperTalk Mississippi. To the junction, in the Grove, and to the top. This is Sports Talk Mississippi. On your radio and in the game, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
You are looking live at Michael Borkey and Brian Hadad, Sports Talk Mississippi. Yes, we are live today. The bracket got released. Are you kidding me?
I need a newspaper thing, proof of life it up here.
We are here. Two hosts in the state of Mississippi, as we told you was going to happen when we signed off on Friday. A little bit of drama.
It's kind of backwards today. Normally I'm the T-shirt guy.
I know. I wanted to represent.
Well, not only that, there's nobody else there.
There's nobody here, right? Yeah.
You get, and I don't know why. I just grabbed a polo today. So.
I am the only car at the building, but yes.
Yeah, so am I. Much smaller building, but
we are live today, and we are so glad you're here. We've got a lot to talk about. The bracket is out. We will look at the regionals in Hattiesburg. We will look at the regional in Starkville. We will look at the regional in Lincoln, Nebraska, which is where Ole Miss is going. Mississippi State made history in softball this weekend, and going to the College World Series for the first time is an incredible accomplishment. For some reason, it's so much sweeter when you beat who they had to beat to get there. It elevates the accomplishment so much more. So we'll talk about that. Jackson Suber had a big weekend. We'll get to winners and losers. We've got two teams. If we got time. I think we got time. On the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. So far, confirmed, two coaches. One of them will join us here in 12 minutes, and that's Kristen Ostrander. Brian O'Connor will join us here in 30 minutes to talk about their draws, hosting their regionals. They have conference champion. Didn't mention that, by the way. Conference champion as well. So much to get to before Hadad pays the bills. I do want to say that most of you are not working today for a very specific reason. It's Memorial Day today, and I'll keep it short and sweet because we mentioned it Friday as well. And you guys want to hear baseball, we got coaches to get to all that. But we simply would not be here, and I mean we, all of you listening, every single one of us out there wouldn't be sitting here getting to grill out, even though it's kind of rainy in the state of Mississippi today, but to have the day off and to be with family and friends and all that and talk baseball and talk about sports on the radio and do all the things that we do every day under the freest nation in the world, if not for people that have chosen to and unfortunately laid down their lives to protect our own. We owe everything that we have to the people that have sacrificed their lives for and in defense of ours. So on this Memorial Day, we are eternally grateful and thankful for those who have died in protection of this great nation. So that is not lost on us today, despite having a sports-heavy show. So we thank you, those of you out there that are listening from above that have died for us. We cannot be more appreciative for what those people have done for us. So happy Memorial Day to you and to everybody that have served and those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice for us.
I feel bad now going into the next thing, but
there's no other way to transition out of that other than...
No, there's not. We are in the Pearl River Resort Studios, pearlriverresort.com. Well, I know it's a rainy week this week, guys. We're going to get through this, but the beautiful summer days are coming. Days to go play golf at Dancing Rabbit, days to take the family to Geyser Falls, or days to just have a great time at Pearl River Resort. Book your stay now at pearlriverresort.com. C Spire text line is open to you at 601-879-4395. With C Spire, it's easier than ever to get all the devices you want in one move with the Ultimate Connect bundle. Right now, new and current customers can get a free phone, a free watch, a free tablet, a free kick in the... I'm just kidding. Plus 100 gigs of data for just $90. That includes the new iPhone 17 or the Samsung Galaxy S26 for free, and a free smartwatch and tablet to go with it. So don't wait. There's more to see. Visit cspire.com or stop by your local C Spire store today. C Spire, inspired by you. My new phone should be here probably tomorrow. I'm excited.
Hey, Dad, why was the internet freaking out last night before the host sites were revealed? What was the source of the Mississippi State fan freak out thinking they were not going to host? Who created that?
Well, our friends Jacob Rudner and Mark Etheridge and Kendall Rogers, both websites, Sunday morning put out their final, prediction before the host sites were announced, and both of them dropped Mississippi State from the host line. Both of them had Mississippi State going to Morgantown as the highest overall number 2 seed. And that's just not something that I saw happening. And if we've learned one thing in the last 48 hours, it's this. The SEC tournament, it's a fun event. It's a great time. If you love college baseball, I encourage you to go. Hoover's a fun area. They got some great restaurants out there, and you're close to Birmingham, which is one of my favorite towns to go out in. Plenty of cool places.
Birmingham's a cool place.
That tournament is meaningless unless you're on the bubble. If you're on the bubble and you need a couple of wins, then go to Hoover with the necessary attitude. For Mississippi State, once they beat Missouri, it was over. All they had to do was beat Missouri, and it was going to be over. And Arkansas, they had a great run. God bless them. But it did not matter.
And then they had injuries as a part of their desperate attempt to host, and they didn't host anyway.
They didn't host. And, I disagreed with something that Peter Burns said earlier today. Let me find the exact quote from him because I don't want to go wrong with it. But, I love Peter. As you know, he's been on my podcast many times. He's been on this show many times.
We need to catch up with him at Media Days because he's an outstanding interview.
We absolutely will. But he says, brutal that Arkansas isn't hosting a regional. Letting March struggles override May results is a tough look for the committee. I just disagree. The season is the season.
Yes.
From opening day till the end, till Selection Sunday or Selection Monday, that's the season. And if you lose a game anywhere along the way, that loss counts. And Arkansas 2026 is the same as Mississippi State 2024. Mississippi State 2024 won 17 games in the regular season of conference play, won the Governor's Cup, won 2 games at the SEC tournament. They had 20 conference wins, but they didn't host. Why? Because in the non-conference, they didn't handle their business, and they had a bunch of bad losses. And Arkansas did the exact same thing. I thought one of the strongest selling points for State's resume was the fact that they were 27-0, quad 3, quad 4. They didn't lose a single game to a bad team all year. They didn't have a great number of quad 1 wins. That is true. But every metric liked them. The only what Arkansas had was, if you're an old school person, you might be like, well, Arkansas had more SEC wins and beat State head to head, and I can respect that. But it's you've got to take the season as a whole, and so
let's play that out for a second, Hadad. So if you want to do that route, if you want to weigh the end of the season games more than the early season games, if you want to weigh those more, how do you do it? That's the question I would have for guys like Peter is how do you weigh those games more?
You can't.
By
Every
what
game
percentage?
is the
what
same.
Do you do?
Every game is the same. So for me, do games have bigger stakes as the season goes along? Sure, because conference championships get on the line and things like that. But each game has to weigh the same on your schedule. So you have that. And then I thought Michael Alford, the athletic director from Florida State, who was the chair of the committee, he kind of summed it up. He's like, it wasn't between Mississippi State and Arkansas. State's metrics had them in. It was between Arkansas and West Virginia. And again, metrics were better for West Virginia. And so Arkansas will go on the road. If they had simply handled their business, they lost games they had no business losing.
We've been talking about that all season. That's why those losses mattered so bad.
Go back to our conversations with Kendall Rogers and with Mark Etheridge and Jacob Rudder. And we were like, these games mean something. And they all were like, well, as long as you're winning on the weekend. No. You can't have 5, 6, 7 non-conference losses. I said 5 first. And expect to just be a lock to host no matter what you do. Unless you're going to go 23-7 in the SEC, then you can host. But if you're going to lose, anywhere from between 5 and 9 non-conference games, you're going to be in trouble on Selection Monday.
And you should.
Yeah.
And you should. And, we talk about it going into the tournament basically every year, but I do think now we can really stop talking about the SEC tournament in terms of value.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's a fun trip. If you love baseball, go. It is a really fun trip for families, man. They built this awesome playground nearby and stuff. Yeah. It's a great trip.
It meant a lot for LSU and Vanderbilt, right? If they could have won out, they could have gone to the NCAA tournament. But, even Kentucky got in today. Unless you're a bubble team, it matters for a group of the lower mid-major teams. Especially you think about Milwaukee. They weren't going to get in the tournament unless they win their conference tournament. So they did, and now they're in.
Yeah. There is an argument that Mercer getting left out is really bad, though.
It's bad.
If you look at their RPI and all that, they should have gotten in.
I have a theory about that. I guess we'll have to save it for a little while because we're about to talk to. We're going to be on the Farm Bureau guest line for just a few minutes here. We've got Coach Christian Ostrander about to join us, and then Coach Brian O'Connor is going to join us. But I said that State should. One of State's problems with its RPI this year, and I know they finished 13th. One of their problems was scheduling 3 series against sub-150 teams. If they had scheduled a series with Mercer, they probably win all 3. They might have won 2 out of 3. But everybody benefited from that. Mercer needed to play that kind of series, and they didn't, and that's why they're not playing right now. We'll be back in just a minute. We'll be talking to the coach of the Sun Belt and Sun Belt Tournament champions, the Southern Miss Golden Eagles, when we come back. Christian Ostrander joins us on the Farm Bureau guest line.
Hello. I listen to it at work.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Sports Talk Mississippi on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Did you get that memo?
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. So, Hadad, in golf, if you have the lowest score on the previous hole, you get the honor, is what it's called. On the next hole, you get to go first.
Yeah, I'm aware.
I feel like if you win a championship, you get the honor on Sports Talk Mississippi. Leading off for us today is Christian Ostrander, Sunbelt champion. Christian Ostrander on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. Coach, just big picture stuff. I know you've got important games coming up and all of that, but have you given yourself a chance to take a deep breath and reflect on your team's run to winning a conference championship?
Man, just bits and pieces I have. It's been hard. You get back last night at 10:30, and got a group here, welcoming the guys, which was awesome. And then, you get in bed after midnight, you wake up, you got selection show and all that stuff, so it's all fluid right now, going fast, but very proud of these guys, man. Just so proud of them. I thought they really competed hard in a good tournament, in a tough tournament with weather and stuff. So, but just proud of them.
You had a full work day's worth of a weather delay mixed in there as well. What did you guys do?
Well, luckily, the format there, the hotel's just, a couple fun goes away from, the field. So it's easy to get back if it's going to be a long drawn out. The ballpark there, they have, each team has their own locker room, which was nice. And so, yeah, it was fine. It's fine. They just hung out, man. They just do what, 18 to 23-year-old dudes do, and they have fun with each other. And, for me, I was, I hate it. And, but, they're more resilient than we are, but, it was fine. They enjoy their company, and they know that, there's only so much time together left, and they want to enjoy it.
Well, Coach, I guess our friends at Baseball America knew something that you and I didn't, because you did not get an SEC team in the Hattiesburg Regional. But this is a pretty good field coming to Pete Taylor Park with Virginia and Jacksonville State and Little Rock. Your first thoughts when you saw these were the 3 teams that you were going to be welcoming to Hattiesburg?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, obviously you don't know details, you don't know stats, whatever. You just see the names and the programs and stuff. Little Rock, we played them years ago. It's been a while, but know they made a good run last year, and respect Coach Curry and what they do, and Jacksonville State. Know they've had a great year, and very, very decorated and very talented. Have heard that, and then obviously Virginia. So, yeah, man, it is who it is. It doesn't really matter the names, and so we're going to be ready for any challenge and just go do our best and look forward to the opportunity.
Your league got a bunch of teams in the tournament this year. Troy's head coach, after one of the games this past week, said, don't call the Sun Belt a mid-major conference. That's not what we are, and the committee agrees with that. What's your thoughts on the Sun Belt getting that many teams in this year?
Well, it's great for our league. It's behind the SEC and ACC. We're the next with the most, teams making the field. So, proud, that's the league we're in, and I'm excited, for the representation. I'm pulling for all those programs, and I thought they were deserving. There's some good ball players over there, man. There's some good teams that they're very talented, and with just whatever. So it's good for it to get the recognition, and hopefully that'll catapult us a little, to keep growing it and making this league even better and better. So that's what we hope for, and that's what we want.
I think every kid that has ever picked up a bat in their life has been in their backyard at one point and done the 3-run game, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, and it's gone, and they run the bases around in their backyard. But your third baseman got to live that dream in reality. What was that moment like for you guys, a walk-off grand slam home run in a conference tournament game?
Man, it was surreal. I've been fortunate to see a lot of really cool moments here, at Southern Miss, and that one's like, wow, that's got to be up there in the lores, the top 2 or 3 ever. It was just special. You kind of saw the inning start happening. It was a 6-2 game. I don't even know what the score was, to be honest with you, but we're able to, get some things going and get some guys on, and a couple hits in a row, then a walk, we feel the pressure change, and then you look up and you got some guys coming up that, man, all right, time to run, or when it runs now at the plate, and they can leave the ballpark. And by God, they did. Jerry got to an 0-2 count, tried to throw another heater by him, man, and he dropped the head on it, and he hit it a long way. And so it was no doubt. And it was really fun to watch him have that moment, watch those boys celebrate together. That was really cool.
Coach, one of the things we always talk about when you're talking about a 1 seed is how you want to set up your pitching. Is it about throwing your ace in game 1, or do you want to throw him later in the weekend? Last season, you didn't throw J.B. Middleton in that first game, and you ended up losing that first game. He had to come back and get you the win in the elimination game on Saturday. Do you consider that like a lesson learned, and you'll just go with your top guy in game 1, or do you have to think, hey, that was the risk and it was the right decision, and we're still going to stick with that kind of strategy?
Yeah, I think each year's different. Each staff's different. I feel like I got 3 interchangeable parts right now, honestly, that are all, when they're on their game, they can hang with anybody. I think it's going to be up to really diving in and looking up, what does one team scream this, what's their splits against a lefty righty? What's, what does this team, do against this type of velocity or ride, carry, whatever. So we're going to look at all factors because we got 3 unique pieces. They're all different. And, and that's a good thing. So we're going to attack it, with what we think the best matchup is at that time.
You want to go ahead and let us know who's getting the ball in game 1?
Not quite yet.
Don't worry, we're going to ask all 3 coaches that same question. I bet we get that same answer from all 3 of you.
There you go. No doubt.
So going into these regionals, correct me if I'm wrong here, Coach, the host gets to decide what time of day that they start the regional. Is that still the case? And if so, why did you choose, or at least on your schedule it says 1 o'clock. Why did you choose that if that was in fact your decision?
It was my decision, and yes, we are supposed to get that choice. Last year, we didn't, and that blew us away because TV got to decide they wanted Alabama and Miami on the primetime slot, and or that afternoon slot, and that forced us, to the night game. Last year, I wanted the 1 o'clock game. You always, in my opinion, in any tournament for us, that's what we've done. We did it in 22 as well, and I believe in that. So, I chose it and believe in it, and I think it's a good thing.
And so you got that 1 o'clock start. I feel like it's like another gamble, right? If you go the other way, you're like, no, we'll let our fans come in and we'll get them the late night and we'll get the primetime thing. And then you get a weather delay and you're playing baseball till midnight. That's where the issue is by and large. Coach, this is a really good baseball team you've got. You've won the Sun Belt. You've won the Sun Belt Conference tournament. And so you've got a team of a bunch of guys who know they can win in the postseason. They know that they can win down the stretch. You're one of the hottest teams in college baseball. Your team's playing great baseball. Do you like where your team is mentally right this second?
I really do. Winning breeds confidence, right? That's why you don't sit back on just winning the league, and we did that the last week. I let that build into, let's go win this tournament. That's, what this program's all about. And, we knew we were in, we knew we were likely a host, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to, if there's a championship or a game to win, we're going to go after it. And we did. And I just think, that's just, I don't know. It's not easy to do, and I think winning just keeps breeding confidence and momentum's a real thing. So we're just going to try to keep it going.
The Hattiesburg Regional kicks off on Friday, 1 o'clock, as Southern Mississippi will take on Arkansas Little Rock and begin the road to Omaha for the Golden Eagles. Coach, we appreciate you. We'll look forward to talking to you next week after you've won this region and we're getting ready for a Super.
All right, guys. I appreciate it.
Coach Christian Ostrander, he joins us on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. This is a tough regional. I mean, Jacksonville State is a team that we talked about, out of Conference USA, they played good baseball. They beat Auburn just a couple of weeks ago. Virginia is Virginia. Even with a new head coach there, Chris Pollard has done a fantastic job of keeping that program at the status that they expect to be at. And Little Rock, you remember a year ago, went down to Baton Rouge and gave the Tigers everything that they wanted en route to, as the LSU was going to be the eventual national champion. So going to be tough for the Golden Eagles, but I do believe in them. I do believe they'll be playing baseball next week as well. So we shall see.
Second toughest regional by RPI average is this one. And it is only second by 0.5. That's it. Yeah. So, a very difficult regional. I would pull that up for you, but Twitter is not letting me look at my own likes right now. So, can't log in on the desktop, and I can't even look at my...
You've been hacked?
No, like the website's jacked up.
I was just looking at it. That's weird.
Well, you know how it is. It varies from user to user.
Yes, you're not wrong. A very, very not uniform user experience for sure.
Glad I've spent so many years using that as my
why I don't
service.
Pay for it. That's why I don't pay for it right there.
Yay. Sports Talk Mississippi. From one coach to another, Brian O'Connor will join us on the Farm Bureau guest line when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
Take one look at diet. You see, it's gonna be the ace of spades, the ace of spades.
If you're...
Can you feel it? Can you hear it? Sports Talk Mississippi. Yeah! On SuperTalk Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi back with you here on a Monday, on Selection Monday, on Memorial Day Monday. We are working to try to get Coach Brian O'Connor to join us on the Farm Bureau guest line. Yeah, maybe he's already at the cookout. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But we will. We're calling him as we speak. Hopefully he'll be able to join us. Let us know what's going on up here in Starkville with his team, the Starkville Regional. Mississippi State hosting a regional for the first time in 5 seasons. No?
0 for 3. Tough night at the plate.
Ugh. Lame.
Got to go back to the drawing board.
That's lame. That bothers me. Starkville Regional though, for Mississippi State. the 14 seed overall, paired with the Athens regional, kind of what we talked about last week about how, you knew. I didn't think State, if you listen to today's Thunder and Lightning podcast, I said that I didn't think State would drop to 15 or 16. I know the last projections that D1 and Baseball America had State as the 16. I was just like, it just seems unlikely. It seemed unlikely to me. I thought State would be between 12 and 14. They got the low end of that. They do have to go play in Athens to play a Georgia team that's already beaten them 4 times this year, assuming they get through their regional, which consists of Cincinnati, Louisiana, and Lipscomb. Lipscomb has already played Mississippi State once this year in a 3-game series. You might recall that was the game that finished 26-0 on Sunday when Lipscomb was just run out of pitching in that game. So for Mississippi State, kind of what we were just talking about there with Coach Ostrander, I think that Coach O'Connor has a very similar decision to make with his pitching staff, and I would be just beyond surprised if it wasn't Duke Stone or maybe even somebody else throwing against Lipscomb. You almost could afford to keep Stone, in a position where, hey, he doesn't have to. You could leave him for a potential elimination game almost. I really do believe in State's ability to throw somebody like Chris Billingsley or Brendan Sweeney or somebody like that, Tyler Pitzer, and they could get through Lipscomb, and then you should be good to go with Valinkas and McPherson there on Game 2 and Game 3. But that's something that I'm sure State will announce a little later. First time since 2021. Of course, the last time Mississippi State hosted a regional, they went on to win the national title. I don't know if that'll be the case this time around, especially having to go on the road to play a Georgia team that is playing outstanding baseball right now. When we're talking about the SEC regular season champion, the SEC tournament champion, just good. This is a really good baseball team, the Georgia Bulldogs. But Cincinnati is an interesting team. They've only hit 84 home runs as a team, but 44 of them from 2 guys. Quentin Coates, 28 home runs on the season, so that'd be kind of interesting. Louisiana is a team that doesn't hit a lot of home runs, so Louisiana. When you look at them, they got hot at the end of the season. They did beat USM 2 out of 3 in about I think that was week 3 of Sun Belt play. But they finished out the season, taking 2 out of 3 from Coastal, and then getting to the championship game of the Sun Belt tournament where they beat Coastal 2 more times along the way. But they are a team, when you just look at them from a batting average and ERA standpoint, their numbers aren't particularly great. So, we good? Yes, we are. We go now to the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. Coach Brian O'Connor joins us. Coach, a little late in the season to be changing things up. We would have a Zoom ready for this. We're going to go live. Are you okay?
Oh, geez. I'll tell you, my technology is challenged in this office complex. For 48 hours, our Wi-Fi has been out, so I can try to get it on here. No.
We're good. We're good. We'll send a text message to Clark or Palmero or one of those guys to get you a new router, and we'll make that happen. Year one for you at Mississippi State. You've hosted many regionals. You've been in the NCAA tournament many times, but for this to be your first season at Mississippi State, what did it mean to bring postseason baseball back to Dudy Noble Field?
Well, it's huge. This was obviously one of our goals as a program and this year's team is, to bring a regional back to Dudy Noble, and just feel great about that announcement last night that it's back here in Starkville, and I know how much that means to these players. You think about Bryce Chance and Ace Reese, Garrett Fry, Noah Sullivan, that were all on the team last year, and I know when they made the decision to be back here at State, how important this was to them and how much it meant to them, because they know how much it means to the fans, right? There's the player part of it, being able to play in the confines of your own ballpark and the advantage of that and the excitement of that. But, it's also about, all this fan base, the best fan base in college baseball that pours their heart and soul into this baseball program. So it's rewarding for everybody involved.
When you look at the last few games for your team, at Texas A&M, you were really hitting the ball well out there. hit the ball well on Wednesday in Hoover. And I thought on Thursday you just unlucky, hitting into some double plays, but you had 9 hits. You got guys on base against Georgia. Do you feel like you're finding some late season consistency at the plate from your team?
I do. Obviously, like you had mentioned, scored a lot of runs at Texas A&M, carried that over to the game against Missouri, and then I agree. In the Georgia game, there were some balls we hit right on the screws, right at outfielders, and didn't get anything from it. So that's going to happen in the game. But I just feel really good about this ball club. I think it's got something special about it, and obviously getting Ryan McPherson back and going is a big boost for us. And so I'm really looking forward to this weekend and our team pulling it all together.
You mentioned McPherson. I saw your quotes from the press conference earlier today. He threw a simulated game, 5 shutout innings, kept him under 80 pitches in that one. Is he at the point now where you can just say, all right, just get out there?
Oh, 100%, right? From a health standpoint, he is. I don't know that he'll be capable of going 100 pitches. I don't know. It'll be more. The game will tell us what to do, but you feel like he can go out there and give you a great chance to win the game, and then the game will obviously tell you what to do. But was really excited about the next step that he took on Saturday night and where he's at. And, this is what these young men dream about, is have an opportunity to pitch in this stadium at home and an NCAA regional.
And then another injury I wanted to get an update on was Kevin Milewski. When we talked last week, you said coming out of practice on Tuesday, you weren't sure he'd be able to go for you in the SEC tournament. That ended up being the case. Is he ready to roll for the regional?
He is, yeah. He actually went and did some more testing on Saturday morning. Anytime anybody goes into that concussion protocol, the medical people take it over, and he was actually cleared and able to compete with us. So he's been practicing each day and ready to go and looks good.
We just had Coach Ostrander on with us. His team kind of similar to yours in that they're the 1 seed, going to play the 4 seed in that first game. And we asked him about the pitching rotation. Do you take the risk of not throwing your ace in game 1? Do you set it up to try to let your aces go later when we're talking about closeout games? How do you feel about that? Do you want to throw Tomas Valinkis in game 1, or are you planning to go another way with that?
Well, we haven't made that decision just because of it was just 4 short hours ago that we found out, which teams are in the regional. So we're actually in the process right now of printing out stats and starting to do scouting reports to see what the best matchups and the best options are. I've always believed, fortunate to have a lot of experience in making these decisions in NCAA regionals and beyond. And the focus is, yes, you need to win game 1. That's part of the equation. And we'll do what we need to do to put ourselves in the best position to do that. But it's about winning the weekend. It's about winning the regional. So we'll look at the teams and then ultimately make the decision on lay it out on what we feel gives us the best chance to not only win on Friday, and that's our focus, but to also be advancing on after this weekend.
About 60 seconds left, Coach. 1 o'clock first pitch. Are you a big proponent of taking that game 1 slot in the regional and avoiding any potential weather or extra inning pitfalls?
Well, I just heard it from you first. I didn't know the game had been set at 1. I know TV gets involved in that, but we did make the decision when we put our bid in that we do want to play game 1. I learned the hard way years ago about that, and so how much weather can impact things and how much it impacts a regional schedule. So now I have been, at least for 15 years, a huge proponent of, as the host school, playing the first game on Friday, and that's what we'll do.
Coach Brian O'Connor, Mississippi State Baseball, appreciate your time. Looking forward to talking to you next week, getting ready for a Super Regional.
Yeah, sorry about jumping on late, and appreciate it, guys.
We'll just blame Logan. It's no big deal.
All right. It sounds great.
Thanks, Coach. We'll talk to you later. Coach Brian O'Connor joins us on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Farm Bureau. Let's get
late but efficient. That was efficient.
C-Spire, we got to get you guys out there. Have a look at the Wi-Fi. They'll get it fixed. All right. I had something I wanted to say that I said we'll talk about it when we come back. Oh, no, I don't. No, I got it in. It was about Mercer. Never mind.
Well, let's go to Lincoln then.
We'll go. We'll look at the Ole Miss Rebels. They're on the road in Lincoln, Nebraska, in what should be a lot of offense in our regional. We'll be back in just a minute.
America's 200.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
This is Sports Talk Mississippi, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi on Selection Monday for college baseball. Let's look a little bit. We'll talk to Mike Bianco coming up in the 5 o'clock hours. But a quick look at that regional draw for Ole Miss in Lincoln, Nebraska. By the way, I have not been to a baseball game at Nebraska, so visuals may not be reality. Looks like an awesome ballpark. I did not expect to see what I saw when I simply Google searched Nebraska baseball stadium. It looks really good and like well kept, and I mean they got double decker. I mean, think Duty Noble, but cut it in half in terms of actual seats. And of course, there's no rigs, right? But that's kind of what it looks like. It's a really nice looking ballpark there in Lincoln, and they draw pretty good crowds as well. It'll be a true road environment. You wouldn't think that if you just hear Nebraska baseball. But yeah, a true, a nice stadium and a true road environment Ole Miss is going to face if they get to face the Cornhuskers. So they're the host. Arizona State is the 3, which is a difficult 3. They're 44 in the RPI right now. And what's dragging down, so we told you that Southern Miss has the second most difficult regional in terms of average RPI. Mississippi State's, for what it's worth, by the way, is... Oh, gosh, hey, Dad, I lost it. It's right here. There we go. Is 55 average RPI. This one is 77, but that's mostly because of South Dakota State. They're 239 in the RPI, with, again, Arizona State 44 and Nebraska at 10. So Ole Miss obviously going to face Arizona State. Hey, Dad, did this young man pitch against Mississippi State, Cole Carlin?
Yes.
He is a massive lefty, 6'5". Yeah. I think he's like 250. Huge guy.
He started the game against Mississippi State. Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah, and he gave five? What was it, 5 1/3, and gave up what?
Yeah, he kind of slid off there at the end, but he was really good the first few innings.
Huge lefty. He has 124 strikeouts in just 77 innings. So he's got electric stuff. He's a pro prospect. And that is who Ole Miss presumably is going to face at 8 o'clock Central, by the way, on Friday night in Game 1. And otherwise, Arizona State pitching, like nothing scares you. The relievers don't really scare you that much, although they have a guy, Sean Fitzpatrick, who's got some pretty good numbers. But this is the guy. This is the guy that can beat you on the mound. Again, I mean, 77 innings pitched, 124 strikeouts to just 29 walks. He has given up just 30 runs in those 77 innings. His numbers, he's got a 3.5 ERA and a 1.2 whip. His numbers, like in conference play, don't just like scream elite pitcher, and then you see the stuff. And then you see
the stuff is really, really good.
And then you see what Ole Miss does against lefties, especially with the guy that's got the swing and miss stuff that he's got. That's a big test for this Ole Miss lineup.
And then on the other side,
boy, they can hit.
The Triple Crown winner in the Big 12 this year, Landon Hairston, .413 batting average, 28 home runs, 79 RPI. RBI, I'm sorry. I'm so used.
79 RBI. They have 4 batters with double-digit home runs, and the least amount of the 4 is 16.
Yeah.
So you've got 4 guys at the top of the lineup that can really hit the ball. Again,
his OPS was 1.415. That was first by .109.
Yeah, this isn't really hyperbole. There's a chance he's the best hitter that they've had since
Bonds?
Since Barry Bonds.
Well, they had Torkelson a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm. But this guy is in that discussion.
This guy is in that discussion for sure. Slugging .897 on the year. He has 92 hits on the year, 20 doubles, 2 triples, 28 home runs. I mean, the guy's just a monster. And, that's the guy that if you're Mike Bianco, you're circling him, you're like, absolutely not.
Yeah, just...
I don't care what. We will walk him with the bases loaded. He's not getting a shot. So.
But Arizona State, so the Big 12, not as difficult of a conference as the SEC, obviously. They have a losing record against Quad 1 teams and ranked teams, does Arizona State. But for a 3, that's a tough 3, especially with the arm that Ole Miss is going to see on Friday night.
Ole Miss will have to throw either Elliott or Rabe here, probably.
I think you go Rabe.
I think you go Rabe, and you that way you have Elliott for potential game 2, and put yourself in the winner's bracket.
Yeah,
keep yourself in the winner's bracket
because Rabe is your most electric. I think he's got the. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I think Rabe has, among your starters, has the most electric stuff to counter that. So if Ole Miss gets past Arizona State, Nebraska, good baseball team. They're 10 in the RPI for a reason. Mm-hmm. They have a winning record against Quad 1 and Quad 2 teams. Mm-hmm. It's an offense that lacks power, not a lot of power in that lineup at all. But they have 7 everyday starters that hit over 300. So it's a really balanced Nebraska lineup. And luckily for Ole Miss, if they get to see the Cornhuskers, all righties that start, all right-handed pitchers, none of them have super elite numbers, and that's not in a great baseball conference either. So don't get me wrong. A very difficult regional for Ole Miss, but there's a path.
They did not play UCLA, did the Cornhuskers. So.
Yeah, they lost a series to Auburn, and also lost to the 2 best teams they played, Auburn and Oregon.
Lost both those series.
Swept
USC, though.
And got swept by Ohio State. Weird series there.
Yeah.
Anyway, winners and losers after the news.
Hey guys, what's happening? What the heck are you doing?
Sports Talk Mississippi on your radio and in the game. Sports Talk Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi here with you on a Memorial Day Monday, Selection Monday. Where else would we be? There's work to be done. We're here. Brian Hadad and Michael Borkey here with you. Look, there's going to be work to be done when this rain stops as well. It's been raining for the past few days. That means the grass, currently, they're up on us, right? The grass is winning right this second. We're not going to let the grass win long term. We're going to get over to Ag Up and buy a brand new John Deere mower and just take care of it. And if you are looking to get a great deal on a John Deere mower, tractor, gator, whatever it is that's in John Deere green, our friends at Ag Up have got great deals available to you, great financing available, and of course, convenient locations because there's 15 of them around the state of Mississippi. So whatever you're trying to do, and look, you don't have to have a big farm to shop at Ag Up. I know you drive by and you see those massive tractors out there. You think, well, that's not for me. You couldn't be more wrong. It doesn't matter how big your backyard is. They've got a mower and a plan for you. Visit them online at agup.com or check out one of thear 15 locations. Ag Up lets you know what's up here on Sports Talk Mississippi. Well, it's Monday. It's 4 o'clock. You know what's up at Sports Talk Mississippi. It's winners and losers.
All I do is win, no matter what. I'm a loser, baby.
We got winners. We got losers.
Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser.
Winner never win.
What'd you like from the weekend? What did you not like? It's real simple. Let us know on the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395. Oh, hey there, Michael Borkey. What'd you like from the weekend? Who's your winner?
Jackson Suber, the Ole Miss alum, finished solo 4th at the Byron Nelson. His best finish on the PGA Tour in his career, and that was an important one for a lot of reasons. He went from outside of keeping his status on tour to now 103rd in the FedEx Cup. That's huge for him to keep his card into next year. He's now in the Aon Swing 5. He has a chance with a good weekend this weekend to get into the signature events, that's career-changing for him. I mean, he went 68, 61, 69, 63. Got a lot of airtime, especially on Saturday. He was playing alongside Scotty Scheffler, and then yesterday he was just awesome, was in contention, so he was getting a lot of love on TV. And Hadad, for a week's worth of work, finishing fourth, $500,000 check headed his way. So
pretty good.
Pretty good work if you can get it. That was a very important week for his career, though, in keeping his card and all that stuff, and playing great. He played great alongside Scheffler. I mean, he's doing really good things right now.
There you go. I would be remiss not to make Mississippi State softball as my winner. And Delaney Everett, the way she pitched this weekend, especially with the emotion, I'm sure we all saw yesterday, her parents' anniversary. Of course, her father passed away. An historic win. And, it kind of played out the way we talked about on Friday, Michael, when I said, the Friday game was such an emotional win to come from behind twice and get the victory. I was worried that Saturday's game could get away from them, and it was. It was 7-0. They ended up losing 7-1. But then they just went and shut down this ridiculous Oklahoma offense with 5 players with 20 or more home runs, and they shut them out in a 3-hit shutout. Delaney Everett, that win for me is in. I think it may be the 4th most important win in school history. Peter Burns asked about that. A lot of Peter Burns references today, but he asked, where does it rank in school history in terms of all sports? I got the 2 wins over Vandy. In the National Championship Series for baseball. I've got the UConn win for the ladies for snapping their streak. And then I think this is it. I think that's the 4th biggest win in school history. So great job by Coach Ricketts, who will join us on Thunder and Lightning a little later this week. And, great stuff for Mississippi State. They will make their first ever appearance in the Women's College World Series.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
You got another winner?
I mean, Southern Miss baseball, don't they need to be a winner at this point?
Especially walk-off grand slam. 2 outs, 2 strikes.
Conference champion. You win 9 games in a row to take home the conference championship. Then you go to a rain-soaked conference tournament, and you find a way, and you overcome all of that. So now you've got 2 trophies in the case, and now you're going to host a regional, and they're paired with Florida. I think that would be a very interesting super regional, or as we like to call it, the Andrew Abity Invitational. We'll see if that ends up happening. But I mean, Southern Miss baseball, they've been on a hot streak. I remember like 4 weeks ago we were like, man, they really don't need to lose any of these games. And okay, challenge accepted by Southern Miss.
I'll do one more.
All right.
I was going to save this for the podcast tonight, but I can also do this on the podcast tonight. Another 4-star defender has committed to Ole Miss. Daryl Madison from Chicago is where he decommitted from Michigan. Everybody knew when that happened he was going to he didn't necessarily flip. It was decommit, wait a few days, commit. So I don't know if that counts as a flip or not, but a 4-star safety from Chicago, I guess, what Lane Kiffin said didn't scare him away because he has committed to Ole Miss from the world up north. So, and he's even visited. So somebody's got to tell him that something's wrong with
sure
Mississippi.
Maybe.
I mean, it's civil rights activist Lane Kiffin needs to get him on the phone and let him know how awful it is. So
you're gonna make me tell that joke if you keep saying things like that. I got that joke locked and loaded. It's ready to go.
So things change when the actual football happens, but recruiting, everything's still going really well. They've got a lot of momentum as a program right now, and another 4-star committed.
There you go. What about a loser?
Clemson and Georgia have a home-and-home scheduled.
Had.
They're going to play it at neutral sites. Why? You're 78 miles from each other. I love the NFL. I love college football. For different reasons. The NFL is more corporate. They do have these luxury stadiums with all these suites, and it feels that corporate is the right word. The quality of the actual football is better. The players are better, but it's less chaotic. It's more structured. It's more corporate. College football is the chaos. You have these massive stadiums on campus with student sections and bands and weird, goofy traditions. And for some reason, the games are just crazier. And that's what we love about college football. And you have these 2 incredible stadiums in incredible environments on great campuses scheduled, and you take them away to go play in Dallas or something? You are becoming the NFL, but not becoming all the good stuff about the NFL. You're becoming soulless without the skill. NFL is super skilled, but it's soulless.
Yeah. And then on the other side of that, I forget who it was. I think it may have been Jason Kelsey. I could be wrong, but he was just like, what makes the NFL unique is Sunday. Like Sunday is the day for the NFL. We watch the NFL on Sunday, and when you put it on Wednesday and Tuesday and Thursday and Friday, it's like you lose the magic of Sunday.
Yeah.
There's just something about, for me, football being high school on Friday, college on Saturday, pro on Sunday. That's the weekend.
And they're all different, and they're all awesome for different reasons.
Yeah, I agree with that. My loser, come on with SGA. Come on, man.
It's so bad.
It's so bad. My winner is the woman who brought the Academy Award trophy and was every time he flopped. But
she holds up the odds.
The one that's going around where he jumps straight up in the air. De'Aaron Fox is literally just standing there. He comes down and he hits the deck and they call a foul. Look, I don't know what the answer is. If the refs are going to blow the whistle, you got to take advantage of that, get to the line. But, this is just one of those things where it's like, I need a little prime Draymond Green to be like, oh, I'll foul you. You want to get fouled? I'll foul you. I need something like that to happen. This is ridiculous.
I saw a stat that said he falls on 27% of his shot attempts. He hits the deck on 27% of his shot attempts. That's a
ridiculously bad number. Just really bad. And I'm not one of these, it's bad for basketball. I get it. I understand. But, man, it's just annoying. It's really annoying to watch. If you're not, I know you're not a lot of NBA fans out there on this show. I understand our listeners aren't massive. You're missing out if you're not watching Thunder Spurs, all right? This is high-level basketball, incredibly skilled players, and, there's an actual alien on the team for San Antonio doing ridiculous things.
Yeah, if you don't believe the government's leak about aliens, watch Victor Wembanyama. Watch him.
That guy is straight off of a Star Destroyer.
You'll believe it all. Especially when apparently there's 4 categories of alien, and one of them is, very human. Mm-hmm. But they're apparently a lot taller than us.
That's him.
We have evidence right there. But no, that's...
hitting half-court three-pointers and pulling up from 35 feet and just draining it. This guy is... The Spurs, man, they're a dangerous, dangerous team going forward. As a Laker fan, I don't like.
Keep sending yours in. 601-879-4395, the C Spire text line. What did you like? What did you not like from the weekend? Send them in. And then when we wrap those up, we've got teams to get to on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. Then we'll get back to baseball because we got to do that as well. So glad you guys are with us on this Monday. Yes, we are live on this Monday. Send in your winners and losers, and we'll get to those when we come back.
Ford is here. Sports Talk Mississippi is brought to you by Covington County Hospital in Collins, where your health matters.
Okay, let's go. To the junction, in the grove, and to the top. Don't hurt yourself. Sports Talk Mississippi on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Blake Kiffin did another article.
Hit the breaking news button. Hit it. Hold on. Let me find it. Where is it?
It's USA Today again, but... oh, it's broken.
No! We got to get that fixed immediately. Fixed today.
Hey, Dad, he's clarifying that because apparently the SEC is going to consider reprimanding him. Yes. Which they probably should. Because it does actually violate their bylaws. You can't call another school segregated.
I got it. Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been handed this here at the desk. I actually have to put the glasses back on because I can't read my screen. Officials at Ole Miss and the SEC have spoken about a potential reprimand for new LSU coach Lane Kiffin over comments he made in a recent Vanity Fair magazine interview. 2 people close to the situation tell USA Today Sports. Kiffin, however, is standing firm that he didn't make racially insensitive comments about the differences in recruiting at Ole Miss and LSU. People don't read the actual words I used in the article. I said, a parent said. That's not me saying it as my opinion.
So my son took a marker and wrote 6-7. I'm not kidding. Wrote 6-7 all over stuff in the house. The first thing he did was blame the dog for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Lane Kiffin did.
Yeah, as one. Well, he can't blame the dog. He can't blame the dog. He doesn't own one.
I didn't say it. I just said somebody else said it.
It's like the thing when the substitute teachers, they're like, we weren't saying we were going to have the test. We were going to talk about having the test today. Yes.
I didn't do it. I just said somebody else said it. Yeah. I mean, come on, man.
I'm just going to go around town just dropping F-bombs and N-words and say, well, Michael Borkey said these words, and I didn't say them. It was Borkey who said it.
This really is like the time when my kid tried to blame the dog for writing 6-7 on something.
I didn't say it. A parent said it. You could have kept it to yourself, Lane.
The gaslighting, it's just surreal.
Oh, my gosh. It's unbelievable. Fantastic work. Thank you, Lane. Once again, you have delivered. Borkey, you got to get that fixed, though. We got to have our breaking news sounder. I got to have that.
I don't know what's going on with the soundboard, man.
Just start from scratch. Just come in one day at like 5 a.m., tell Lance he's not allowed to work Richard's show, and tell Richard, be like, I'm not going to say anything. I got to work on these sounders. They got to work for me. All right, let's go back to the C Spire text line. 601-879-4395. Woo.
I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. Delaney Everett did it. He said one of the all-time great athletic efforts by a Mississippi State athlete, a true dog legend. Like I said at the beginning, it's not just, like, the accomplishment's great. But if they beat somebody that upset in a regional, it's still great. Like, it's still an awesome accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
To go into Goliath's den and beat them the way that they did, it's totally different when it's done that way.
It's something. It really is. Like I said, a historic win. And like I said, this Oklahoma team, it's not like they were just a good team, right? This is the most dominant program in the sport. This is the first time they've missed the Women's College World Series since 2015, I believe. Like the numbers coming out of this, like in terms of historic wins and losses, it seemed like everything they did was something new. Hadn't lost a tournament game since. Hadn't lost a super regional game since. Hadn't been shut out since. And that's what State did.
Another one, big winner, Mississippi State Lady Bulldogs softball team. Yeah, that's going to be a popular one today.
Yeah, I think so.
Loser, Jason Williams. Did you see? I'm sure you saw that. Hey,
White chocolate?
So he's got a daughter on Texas Tech softball team.
I didn't see this, no.
He's got a daughter on Texas Tech softball team who transferred from Florida to Texas Tech.
Okay.
Texas Tech playing at Florida this past weekend.
Right.
She got hit, I think, 5 times in the Super Regional. And the only one that I saw was not intentional. A pitcher trying to go inside, she's crowding the plate, it nicks her back knee.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of sparked everything. But I mean, Hadad, he was very, let's call it demonstrative at his former school, and there was fans yelling at players, middle fingers, gestures, grabbing of private parts from fans in the stands, teams not shaking hands after the game, scuffles in the crowd, just an embarrassment. And regardless of him and whether the girl transferred or not, and all of the emotions into that, old man yells at cloud, stick in the mud, whatever. When did we stop acting right as people? This is constant. This is all the time.
Mm-hmm.
What possesses an adult man to grab his private parts because of a college softball game and gesture to the girl? Another one, holding middle fingers up to college girls because of a game? And then the two teams not shaking hands. Well, everybody involved is a loser. We've totally lost the plot. Why don't we act right anymore as people?
That's a long conversation.
It's just mind-blowing. And my dad's not a perfect man. I'm not a perfect man either. But what my dad always told me, in sports especially, if somebody's acting up on the field, the best thing that you can do is put your head down and beat them and not say a word.
Yeah.
Why are the coaches in the dugouts not saying the same thing? Why are you yelling at fans as a team, your entire team? Why are you engaging with the crowd after you win? Why don't you hug each other and give yourselves pats on the butt and say, hey, we got to go to Oklahoma City. We got to keep winning. And adults in the stands acting the same. It's all awful. I don't get it. But it's everywhere now. It's Little League. It's college level. It's people on the golf course don't act right anymore. Hey, Dad, it's everywhere.
I got no comment on why it is that way.
I'm sure you do, just not, on today. But yeah, Jason Williams was in the mix of all that. Now he's being, he's not an alum anymore and all that stuff. So it's kind of a deal. Winner, USM Baseball for tracking down Coastal to win the regular season title and then the tournament championship. That's from Johnny. Loser, NBA players who continue to flop after a field goal attempt, most notably SGA. I'm over it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Brian in the Delta says the same thing, although we got to change this, Borkey. I don't think he's Brain in the Delta. Can you fix that for me?
I can't fix it, unfortunately. Once it's saved, it's saved.
As a Brian.
Once it's saved, it's saved.
I feel bad. Well, I'm sorry then, Brain. It's the way that we've got it in there. I don't know who screwed that up for you. It probably rhymes with Feikle Morky.
It wasn't me.
I'm blaming you. I know you guys aren't motorsports enthusiasts, but the Indy 500 was awesome. Carlo was telling me about this on the podcast, being an Indiana guy. He's a huge 500 fan. The winner was Felix Rosenquist, and I'm going to butcher that name. The other winner would be the coverage of the Coca-Cola 600 on Amazon Prime. Apparently, it was the closest finish to the Indy 500 ever, like a real photo finish with cars. So something pretty cool there.
And then, he mentions the coverage of the Kyle Busch tributes. I think it's his 11-year-old son.
Yeah.
I cried yesterday watching the video, but the unbelievable mental strength of that young boy is his dad's, he's so proud of him. His mom is crying, and you can tell that boy wants to as well. But you can see it happening in real time in his head. He's like, no, I can't because I got to be strong for Mom. It's just an incredibly beautiful and tragic dynamic all at the same time. That boy's going to be good at whatever he chooses to in life. That was awesome. I would not have that strength, and I'm a 34-year-old man. Watching an 11-year-old boy handle himself the way he did was so impressive. I'm tearing up right now thinking about it. He was awesome. Just awesome.
Got some more winners and losers here. Winners, Pine Belt Baseball, high school baseball champion, Sumrall, PCS, Petal, Mize. In college, William Carey upset number 1 seed Taylor in the NAIA World Series. Southern Miss wins the Sun Belt, and the Pearl River Community College softball team just won the JUCO national title early today. The Pine Belt is a baseball hotbed. No question. That's from our good friend Caleb in Starkville.
Are you ready for how lame this is going to be? The Pine Tar Belt.
You were right.
Baseball belt. We got to call it something. It needs a nickname.
It's already got a nickname. It's the Pine Belt.
I know, but related to baseball. The baseball belt.
No,
something.
It doesn't need anything else.
I like the Pine Tar Belt.
You can't give a nickname to a nickname.
Yes, you can.
You can't.
Yes, you can.
I just said you can't.
It's the Pine Tar Belt.
It is not.
It is the Pine Tar Belt. I assume pine tar comes from pine trees.
Yeah.
You would think. But yeah, it's incredible. Just per capita.
They got a lot going on.
I bet that little region of the state of Mississippi produces players at a volume that very few other places in the country do. Awesome stuff. We'll wrap these up when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi. Don't go anywhere.
Sports. This is Sports Talk Mississippi.
Sounds good.
On SuperTalk Mississippi.
votes coming in on my favor. Somebody says the best nicknames are derivatives of other nicknames, and then Andy says Pine Tar Belt. I second it. And then somebody says Borkey smoking the
marijuana.
Oh, with nicknames. Hang in there. Hey, Dad. Yeah. Maybe a little crazy. Maybe a little bit.
That's right.
We got to get through this because we got to get back to baseball, but we got 2 to get to today. We will definitely do 1 on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. What the heck? I just tested this.
This day is banana.
There we go. What's going on in here? Doesn't matter.
100 teams in 100 days.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go! It's the final countdown.
Team number 97 on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. An Aggie, but not the one that you're thinking. A little further west. The Utah State Aggies. Team number 97. Logan, Utah is where they're located. Maverick Stadium. Really cool looking venue. As you can imagine, the landscape pretty nice. 25,500 can seat. After a renovation, they actually took seats away, but it does look good. Looks like a cool spot to go watch a college football game up there in Logan, Utah. If I had to give you a guess, could you tell me who the head coach at Utah State is? He is a name that our audience, by and large, I think would recognize.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. He's a former head coach at somewhere big, right?
I would categorize his previous, or 2 of his previous head coaching jobs as quote-unquote big.
I can see it, but I don't know. What is it?
Bronco Mendenhall is the coach
yeah.
at Utah State. Spent a long time at BYU from 2005 to 2015. He was really good for a while there at BYU, especially when they were in the Mountain West. He had 4 consecutive double-digit win seasons, including back-to-back undefeated years in conference. They went independent in 2011. He went 10-3, but just kind of petered out. 8-5, 8-5, 8-5, 9-4. Got a nice landing at Virginia. He went 2-10 in year 1, but then got better. 6-7, 8-5, 9-5 there. Went 5-5 in the COVID year, and then 6-6, and it just wasn't working out. He stepped away from Virginia. Stepped away but didn't retire. It was an odd deal with him leaving Virginia. He popped up a couple years later at New Mexico, where he went 5-7 in his 1 year and then got the Utah State job. Last year they go 6-6. They beat UTEP to open the season. They lost at Texas A&M, beat Air Force, beat McNeese before they lost at Vanderbilt. So, 2 SEC games, 2 losses, understandably so. They go to Utah, they go to Hawaii, they get beat. But they turn around, they beat San Jose State. They lost at New Mexico, had an off week. They beat Nevada, had a double overtime loss to Dan Mullen's running Rebels of UNLV.
Oh, yeah.
Beat Fresno State, lost to Boise State before they got beat by Washington State in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. That was last year for Bronco Mendenhall's Utah State Aggies. This year, they have Idaho State to open the season, then they go to Washington before they go to Utah. Did you know that the Utah State-Utah game has a name?
I did not. I know BYU does. What is Utah State?
The Battle of the Brothers. Oh. The Battle of the Brothers.
I get it.
Rice-Eccles Stadium at Utah. Then they host Troy and go to Boise State before they host Washington State. Have an off week. Go to Texas State. So Texas State, a current playing baseball member of the Sun Belt. That will not be the case next year.
Yeah, are they in the NCAA tournament? They didn't make it.
They are.
All right, so they got a few more days here as a member of the Sun Belt.
And then that's it. They host Colorado State and Fresno State before they go to San Diego State and Oregon State before hosting Boise State. The Pac-12 now is what Utah State is going to be in this year. There you go. That's Utah State. Bronco Mendenhall. I can't believe he's the coach there. I was shocked when I saw that earlier.
That's a guy he's been doing it a long time, been winning. But he's a really, really good coach. Speaking of winning, if we're ever in Logan, Utah, Michael Borkey, we're going to Angie's Cafe. Now, they are breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It looks like breakfast is the meal to get. Some of these things, the cheesecake waffle, fluffy waffle topped with delicious cheesecake batter, strawberries, and whipped cream. You can add bacon or sausage and 2 eggs for only $5 more. Pretty good. Pretty good. They got waffles. They got French toast. They got omelets. They got skillets filled with potatoes and meat and all that good stuff. Dinner and lunch are pretty basic. Burgers, sandwiches, stuff like that. But then for dessert, my friend, we can get the kitchen sink for $24.99, 2 whole bananas, mounds of vanilla ice cream, 3 toppings of your choice, covered in whipped cream, topped with chopped nuts and a cherry. Clean the sink. You get a bumper sticker that says, "I cleaned the sink at Angie's." That is diabetes in a contraption there, but I wouldn't mind taking that on. So, Angie's Cafe, if you're ever in the Logan, Utah area around dinner time, they'll get you taken care of.
That is team number 97 on the countdown of 100
It's a Coke
teams.
restaurant, too, so that's a plus.
Okay.
I feel like you got to give that disclaimer. If it's a Pepsi restaurant, you're like, eh.
I went to a Pepsi restaurant yesterday, and I thought about you.
One of the greatest disappointments is when you're like, and for you, sir, Coke Zero, is Pepsi okay? Water it is.
You should just start saying no.
Yeah, I should be like, no.
No, give me a Coke, please.
There's a gas station across the street. Go, here's $10. Go get me 3 Coke Zeros. Keep the change.
Oh, man.
I used to do that. Like, Pizza Hut is a Pepsi restaurant, right? When I would order, I would leave a note, be like, tell the driver to call me before he leaves if I didn't have any Cokes in the house. And I get him to call me and be like, hey, I know y'all don't sell Coke. Could you stop and pick me up a couple of Cokes? And I'll pay for the Cokes and I'll add to the tip. And they would always say, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Why not?
That kind of stuff.
All right, so let's get back to baseball. The bracket was released this morning. Let's go through it. Why not? The number 1 overall seed, UCLA, with Virginia, Cal Poly, and St. Mary's in that bracket. Any thoughts there before we move on? That's out west. There's not much to...
Yeah, not a lot going on. I mean, UCLA should pretty easily advance.
Virginia Tech being in the Los Angeles Regional.
Yeah, is always
a
well. If they win
exercise.
West Virginia won't have far to travel.
That, by the way, a RPI average of 64 for that regional,
which is funny when you consider what is it if you take the one out. What are the other 3 teams?
Virginia Tech 42, Cal Poly 73, St. Mary's 140. So the 1 seed got the 1 seed treatment in the regional. Georgia Tech, the number 2 overall seed, with Oklahoma, the Citadel, with the 3 seed, and Illinois Chicago. An average RPI in that regional of 73.5.
Somehow an easier regional than the 1 seed. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, UIC doing the heavy lifting at 227 there. But that's a tough one for Oklahoma. Just a tough one for Oklahoma. The UCLA Regional paired opposite West Virginia with Wake Forest, Kentucky, and Binghamton.
Okay.
Fair enough. RPI average of 48 for that one. Mm-hmm. Georgia Tech paired opposite Kansas, so Kansas does host, as they should. Kansas, though, gets Arkansas as their 2, Missouri State their 3, and Northeastern as their 4. The most difficult regional by RPI in the field.
I mean, Missouri State, we talked about them all year because they were so good for Ole Miss on their schedule. Arkansas was probably the last team out as far as hosting goes. It's going to be very difficult for Kansas to advance, I think.
It certainly will. Southern Miss with Jacksonville State, Virginia, and Little Rock in that regional, an average RPI of 38. The second most difficult regional in this bracket. Southern Miss obviously at 12, Virginia 26. Jacksonville State actually 25. I should have reversed those.
Yeah.
Jacksonville State at 25, Virginia at 26, and Little Rock at 89. So that is...
Jacksonville State should be a 2 seed somewhere. They should not be a 3 seed.
They should be a 2 seed somewhere.
Yeah. Like, you could swap them in Virginia Tech. Send Virginia Tech to Hattiesburg.
Yeah.
And send Jacksonville State to UCLA.
That would make more sense, especially, travel-wise. I don't know if that makes...
Doesn't make a ton of sense either way. I mean, they're far away. So.
Bit of a spicy one. Opposite Southern Miss is Florida, with Miami in that regional, Troy and Ryder.
Ask Southern Miss what happens when Miami's in your regional. They can take it.
Yep. Average RPI of 48.75. We will look at the rest of the bracket when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi. We'll get to a college football fix here from Mike Bianco and then just get right back to baseball because that's what we're doing on this Monday and for the rest of the week at least. We'll be back in just a bit.
This is Sports Talk Mississippi.
Woo! I say, sports fans.
Now, here's more on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. Looking at the rest of the bracket, Florida State drew Coastal Carolina, St. John's, and Northern Illinois. Coastal Carolina kind of fell apart there at the end.
Yeah, 5 weeks ago, Coastal Carolina might have been paired with Tallahassee, as a national seed.
Yeah.
Not now.
Average RPI of 53.75 in that one. They are opposite Alabama, who got Oklahoma State, Alabama State, and USC Upstate, as in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Alabama gets an average RPI of 74, not the easiest out there, but certainly one of them. A pretty darn good draw for the Crimson Tide.
Indeed.
North Carolina got the regional of death. I don't know how this is not the most difficult one RPI-wise, but in terms of talent and stuff, I don't know what the North Carolina did to the selection committee, because this is brutal. They have Tennessee, East Carolina, and VCU.
Yeah.
Their 4 seed has an RPI of 82. You've got Tennessee mixed in there, and then their 3 has an RPI of 40.
That's rough. That's a very tough regional, no doubt.
That is opposite Texas A&M with Richard in Oxford on the call, who's reminded us on the text line 3 times.
Yes, he is on the call.
A&M, USC, Texas State, and Lamar. I don't know how he's going to play this series all by himself, but that is a brutal one. USC's RPI is 9. The 2 seed's RPI is better than the 1 seed in this regional.
It really is something, yeah. USC is such an outlier. No good wins this year, basically.
Average RPI of 39 in that one. Texas has UCSB. I would hold my starter if I'm them. Tarleton State and Holy Cross in the Longhorns regional. Mm-hmm. An average RPI of 75. Holy Cross is 201. UCSB 38 and Tarleton 56 to get
Tarleton
to that number.
Tarleton did beat Texas earlier this year, though.
Revenge on the mind.
Yeah.
Oregon, the 11 with Oregon State. That's tough. Washington State and Yale. So a very West Coast themed regional plus Yale. Their 3 has an RPI of 83. So compare that to, again, the aforementioned North Carolina, whose is 40. Average RPI on that one of 65. Final groups here. You already know the Starkville Regional, Cincinnati, Lipscomb, and Louisiana. Mississippi State's average RPI on that was 55.75. One of the, not the easiest or close, but one of the easier draws that you could have hoped for going into it, I guess.
Yeah. When you look at the team states playing, they got a good draw. There's no getting around.
Cincinnati is 22 in the RPI. Louisiana is 33, although they can't hit the baseball, it seems. This is a regional that you get out of if you're Mississippi State. That is the acceptable result. Anything short of that, and I mean, it's clear. Frustration is not even the right word. You win this regional.
This is a very winnable regional for Mississippi State, especially you're playing a team that you've already swept, a team that you beat 26-0. You should be able to win that very easily.
Opposite Georgia. Georgia, the number 3 overall, with Boston College, Liberty, and Long Island, an average RPI of 73.5 in that one. A lot of... 68. Long Island doing a lot of heavy lifting, though, at 199 there. And that is opposite, on the bracket anyway, the Lincoln, Nebraska Regional. As we mentioned, Ole Miss, Arizona State, and South Dakota for that one. An average RPI of 77.25. So statistically, or by RPI, Ole Miss is in an easier regional than that of Mississippi State. But you have a 239 mixed in there, which certainly does not help. Finally, the Auburn Regional. Auburn building some temporary seats all over their stadium for this one. An average RPI of 82 with Milwaukee, UCF, and NC State. That is the easiest regional in terms of average RPI in the tournament.
That's surprising that they got. It's so weird how this all works out. Where it's like, why can we not just give the easiest regional to the 1 seed and just sort of work our way down? It just feels like mathematically it wouldn't be that difficult to do, but it is what it is. Like shouldn't the 2 hardest regionals be 16 and 15? Like why is that not the case? But whatever.
So that's your bracket. We got to do the college football fix. Got to talk to Mike Bianco.
Yeah.
We do have another team to do, but we'll circle back to baseball.
Is that not going to be the college football fix?
Well, there's this On3 story about SEC spring meetings. But
okay.
But we don't have to.
Well, I mean, we got time. We'll figure it out.
We got time.
Right.
So, we'll do that. College football fix after the news on this Monday. Glad you guys are with us wherever you are. 601-879-4395 is the C Spire text line. Stick with us in the Pearl River Resort Studio. Your college football fix is next.
Your home to Sports Talk Mississippi.
Are you ready?
On the SuperTalk app, supertalk.fm, and always on your local SuperTalk Mississippi station.
We're back here on Sports Talk Mississippi. It's Memorial Day. It's Monday, so of course we're working. Again, I ask, who would not work on a Sports Talk show on Baseball Selection Monday in a state where all 3 teams are going to the post? Beyond me. Part of the job means it's 5 o'clock. It's time for the college football fix. The college football fix is driven by your Mississippi Ford dealers. Built Ford Tough. That's the best-selling truck in America, the Ford F-150. Or if you're looking for a new truck, don't mess around. Get only the best. You deserve it. Visit your Mississippi Ford dealers today. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Pete Nakos of On3, the highly anticipated spring meetings in Destin. Yes, a nice resort right there on the beach to talk about how nobody has any money is going on this week. And we'll have to catch back up with Ben Portnoy. He's there covering it. But among the things that are being discussed this week, possibly, is maybe a fine for Lane Kiffin. Reading from Pete Nako, said on 3, it's no secret Lane Kiffin left Ole Miss for LSU, blah, blah, blah. Did the article with Vanity Fair. Days later, Steve Sarkisian said the thing he did about the academics. He tried to clarify that, but, of course, nobody really heard the clarification. Keith Carter has not commented publicly about it, but sources tell Chris Lowe that there have already been discussions between Ole Miss and Ole Miss administrators and SEC officials. There are 2 bylaws, bylaw 1023 or 1052, that could have been violated. 1023 says, quote, coaches and staff are required to advocate for the positive attributes of their own university and must avoid making derogatory statements about another member institution's program, facilities, or education opportunities. Bylaw 1052 says, quote, coaches and administrators are strictly forbidden from public criticism of other member institutions, their staffs, or their players.
Can Mississippi State get in on this, too? Because I seem to recall when the jersey was stolen, he said something about, what do you expect from these people over here? And I believe that's what he said.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
SEC officials
Get in on that, Zach.
said there was nothing to report at this
Class
point.
Action.
Sankey will have to address the comments this week. Now, I don't know how to react to that because what's a $100,000 fine going to do to a man with a $92 million contract? Right. If you're Greg Sankey, you cannot, I mean this seriously, you cannot have a coach imply that another school is segregated publicly and let that fly. And that's the same coach that a month ago, bragged on the fighting prowess of his fan base after an adult man put his hands on the throat of one college student and then punched another one. You can't just let that slide.
You know that
I would be surprised if he actually gets fined, to tell you the truth. But as the commissioner of the league, you can't let that kind of stuff continue. Yeah. You really can't.
You know that episode of It's Always Sunny where they find out that Frank went to the island? And he's like, we got to come up with a song. That's the next step for Kiffin. That's the next step. It's like, I was only there for the snorkeling. Like, that's what we're at right now. He's just making it up as he goes along. Like, I fully expect him in the next few days to release a song, you know. But it wasn't that bad.
I mean, he gave the gaslighting quotes to Matt Hayes at USA Today, so clearly whatever pre-communication has happened has not reached his desk yet. I don't know. I don't think anything's going to come of this because I don't think that the SEC has shown strength lately.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of stuff because what Sankey can't do is do nothing here and then turn around and talk about the temperature of the game in week 3. You have an opportunity to try to use your power to at least calm one person, the biggest person involved in this deal, down some. If you don't take that opportunity to stop him, then don't get mad when he doesn't stop. It's like if your dog, when you get a new puppy, right, and it pees on the rug, and you just clean it up without doing anything about it, the dog's going to keep peeing on the rug.
At least once.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what you've got here. You've got a puppy that peed on the rug. You got to put his face in it, or else he's going to go back and pee on the rug some more.
Yeah. I'm just, I know how this works with people on the spectrum, and you got to set guidelines and meet them. Otherwise, they will. They are, to quote Charlie Murphy, a habitual line stepper. All right, that's what Lane Kiffin is.
They're also going to talk about.
I need Pete Golding to do true Lane Kiffin stories as a skit. He slapped me. What do the 5 fingers say to the face? Yeah, something like that. Slap.
They're going to talk about the playoff expansion. The SEC obviously does not see eye to eye with the Big Ten on the 24-team proposal, as you guys know already. There is only 2 entities that decide what the playoff will be, and that's the SEC and the Big Ten. ESPN has been on record multiple times that they do not want to see it expand past 14. The reason why is because they would not get the extra games. They only, in their contract, have up to 14. That's why they're stopping it. But anyway, that is going to be on the docket this week. We will see what happens there. Apparently, some coaches and ADs have started to change their mind about wanting 24. And so, again, we will see. It's going to be all about money and whether or not it's worth it from that perspective. And then you've got the breakaway conversation that's going to happen this week. Apparently, frustration is growing around the NIL clearinghouse. You have to submit your deals to the clearinghouse. Players are not getting paid. Players sat out of spring practice because they did not get paid. And before you roll your eyes, just play football. If you had a contract with your employer and they didn't honor the contract, would you continue to work for your employer? Probably not.
If I may be the exception to that rule because I did that for a little while. But that's a different situation. I'm unique. Yes, for the most part, after the first paycheck doesn't show up, you're like, I'll be back when we're getting paid. And I think that's a very normal American response to not getting paid. I don't have a problem with that.
Yep, and people are getting frustrated because there are hundreds, possibly, of millions of dollars that have not been paid yet because the clearinghouse is not working efficiently. Who could have saw that coming? Oh, wait, we did on this show. Told you it wasn't going to work. Imagine that. Over $100 million in deals have not been approved by the College Sports Commission yet. That is a big problem. So they're going to talk about governance as well. The SCORE Act is dead in Congress. That's not going to go anywhere. Congress is not going to help at all. There's one more bill that Ted Cruz and Maria Cantwell have been negotiating. It's not going to go through, especially after what has happened recently. So SEC leaders are going to talk about the breakaway. Can they govern themselves without the NCAA? That is your big talking points this week in Destin. A lot of stuff, a lot of quotes, a lot of whatever is going to come out of it. But, yeah, that is it.
I fear that it's just going to be a lot of messaging and not a lot of action. And nobody's willing to look. We're only willing to screw people over. We're only willing to mess with people if it's the fans. Like, we wouldn't dare mess with a coach or a player. But if a fan does something, we'll, or even if they don't do anything, we'll mess with them. But yeah, I don't know. That being said, it would be interesting if he was just like, Lane, we're not going to find you. We're going to find LSU. Here's a $5 million fine, and it's not a huge number to LSU. They'd come up with it in about 2 weeks, but I'm sure there's a hospital down there that they could find. But it's got to be something like that. I don't know. Yeah. Or do you just go like, you're suspended week 1? That's a big game for LSU. I mean, they're playing Clemson. They'll still win, but, you think you're about to have your debut moment there in Tiger Stadium, and you can have it next week against whoever.
You know who would do that? Goodell.
Goodell would absolutely do that.
You can't do what has happened this offseason in the SEC and the NFL. There's a reason for that.
No, you're right. You're absolutely correct.
But anyway. Somebody says maybe Greg Sankey should send a strong message to LSU that Lane Kiffin should be removed from social media. Does that include the fake dog Twitter account or not? I
don't want to see Kiffin burner in 2 weeks either.
He has a burner account. Absolutely, he responds to people behind a burner account. 100%.
I bet he's got as many as Kevin Durant does. They're probably peas in a pod on that one.
Man. 601-879-4395. Spring meetings. Ada's going to love this week in college football. It's going to be great. Fantastic. How about we talk baseball, though, with Mike Bianco when we come back?
America's 200. Super Talk Mississippi. Introducing to you Sports Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. We go to the Farm Bureau guest line again. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. Mississippi Farm Bureau Ostrander and O'Connor joined us in the 3 o'clock hour. Now, head baseball coach at Ole Miss, Mike Bianco, joins us. And, Coach, I know you've made many regionals in your career, but I guess congratulations is in order. Your team makes the postseason yet again. How does it feel?
Well, it feels great. I mean, it never gets old. It never. So no, we'll take your congratulations. So I appreciate it, and excited to get to Friday.
Well, what is the biggest difference? Maybe this is an elementary question, but between a big Friday night in the SEC in the regular season and then a big Friday night against Arizona State in a regional?
Well, I mean, it's why you do all the Friday nights, in the SEC is, to get to this point. And, we've talked about that now for a week. I mean, yes, the SEC is awesome, but one of the reasons it's awesome is that, you feel that it prepares you better than any, conference in the country, for postseason. And I think that's one of the reasons that the teams have done so, well over the years. And I don't just mean recently, but, for decades now, why the SEC sends so many teams, to Omaha and so many national championships is because, the league prepares you better than any other league.
Last week, you guys only play one game. Is that something that you as a coach welcome in hindsight? I know you would love to have won, the SEC tournament, but now that you got a week off, was that beneficial for your team, or do you wish that you guys would have had a bunch of games to play last week?
Well, I think you never want to play poorly. You never want to lose. But once you get to that point and you drive home, you can feel sorry for yourself and be mad at yourself and be angry, or you can get back to work and fortunately your season's still ahead of you. And that's, I think, the attitude that we took and we talked about when we got back. Literally, Saturday, early evening. The bus was pulled up here about 7 p.m. And, we talked briefly with the guys. We put a practice plan together, met that night as a coaching staff, kind of mapped out the next 5 days and really, we're mindful of, that the juggle of, you don't want that many days off. Baseball's, not built that way. And to have, 9-10 days off as hitters to not face live pitching, that's not a good thing for pitchers and relievers to not have thrown, to not be in that, I think, game speed atmosphere is not a great thing. But rest and recovery is also a good thing. And so, I think it's a juggle. So we inter-squatted on Wednesday, through a lot of different guys that didn't get the opportunity to throw on the one game in Tuesday, had practice the next 3 days, and then of course had another inter squad on Sunday. So I think we checked a lot of boxes that we needed to check as far as live at bats and live pitching for the guys, and feel like we really took advantage of it.
When you found out that you were going to Lincoln to play in the Nebraska regional, what did you know on the surface about Nebraska baseball?
Not much, obviously, from a couple decades ago, I remember Dave Van Horn going there and really turning, the program around and, got to Omaha a couple of years. But not much since then, obviously, because in a different league, 2 different leagues, right? I mean, Big 12 and now, the Big 10. I think when we're playing, but that's not, again, I think so much different than even Arizona State or, a school that's, out west. I mean, when you're not playing them regularly, you kind of, lose focus on, what they're all about.
And conference realignment has been such a football-driven thing, but Nebraska, a Big Ten team, I mean, you get film on them playing Southern Cal and Oregon in 3 games each. That's really interesting that football has kind of changed the way that you get to prepare and judge a baseball team now.
Well, no doubt, and I think they would admit, and from again an outsider looking in, that alignment really helped their conference as far as baseball. I mean, when you add USC and UCLA and Oregon to the normal slate of Big Ten teams, it certainly made their conference better. But so did Nebraska. Nebraska hadn't always been in that league as well, and so it's we're all different, right? College athletics is different, so I don't think it's anything special.
Have not seen their pitching plans yet, but the presumption is you guys are going to be facing Cole Carlin in Game 1, a big lefty for Arizona State. When you guys are preparing for games like this, when you have a presumed starter, do you do kind of like what football teams do and they'll find a similar athlete and slap a jersey on him and practice against him? How do you replicate the kind of stuff that you're going to presumably see on Friday night?
I think most of it's done, from video and just, watching a lot of the, analytics and data and, how he attacks hitters, and certainly, machines in the cages and on the field. But it's really hard to emulate, a guy's throwing motion and, we don't have that. No, that doesn't really happen in our league.
Pitching plans. I assume you're not going to reveal yours this weekend, but how much thought and attention and studying and meetings go into deciding whether or not you go with a regular rotation, maybe you throw your number 2 guy? What goes into that decision that you're faced with upcoming this weekend?
I think the biggest thing is, you're trying to win the regional, and so, yes, you got to win the first game, but, winning the first game and losing the second, is no different than losing the first and winning the second, right? You put yourself in the same position. And so the only way to have a better advantage is to win the first 2. But at the end of the day, the reason it's different than the normal weekend is when we're playing Mississippi State or LSU or somebody in the Southeastern Conference, you're playing the same team 3 games in a row. And so here you're playing different opponents. And so, and usually opponents you're not familiar with. And so, the thing is to try to figure out what is the best matchup. Who do you have available who's the best matchup for that team? And so that's what we've been doing today, a little bit this morning before we hit the practice field. And then, really, since we've gotten off the practice field, in, late afternoon, just looking at it, breaking down the numbers and seeing what the best matchups are.
We had Coach Ostrander on earlier and asked him the same thing. Of course, he didn't reveal his either, but he did say, he feels like he's got 3 guys that are interchangeable. He's got 1A, 1B, 1C. From a numbers perspective, Coach, it feels like you have the same problem, quote unquote, with 3 guys that all have ace starter stuff.
No, and I think you're exactly right. Last year we were at a point where there was, I think, and I don't mean this as, to take anything away from Mason Nichols or Riley Maddox, but there was a big difference between Hunter Elliott and the other 2, and knowing that we had to get through the regional, we rolled the dice and went a different direction and didn't throw, Hunter on the first day, in hopes that we could win and get to the number 2 seed Georgia Tech, but we just never got there. And so, this year's different. You're right. This year, not only are all 3 guys we feel can beat and they're aces and can beat anybody, but they're a little bit different. Obviously right-handed, left-handed, some a little more velocity, some a little more breaking ball. And so that's, currently what we're trying to figure out, what's the best matchup.
You've got a lot of veterans on your team, experienced guys, even a Dom Decker who hasn't been in your program for a while, but he's played a lot of baseball and has had postseason success. What have you noticed from those guys, though, in the last week leading up to this moment and on the practice field and in your scrimmages and stuff from them getting ready for this weekend?
I'm really proud of them, to lose the first game and then to come back and to lose the first game in the conference tournament and to come back here and really ask them to get back to work, right? And, the thing is we want to be our best version, this coming weekend. And to do that, we got to take care of some business. And I thought the guys were awesome. I thought they were very mature. And that's from, the usual suspects and Judd and Hunter and those guys. But to the other guys, like you said, Dom, and that leadership, I think, is transferable to those younger guys. And those younger guys that are freshmen, as we joke a lot, they're no longer freshmen. They're done with school. They finished their freshman year. They finished 57 games, and so they're almost sophomores. And so I thought it was a very mature approach, across the board this week, and really happy with it, because I don't know if it's always like that, but it happens when you have great leadership.
Coach, we can't thank you enough for doing this every Monday with us all season, especially on a day like this. Safe travels, best of luck this weekend, and hopefully we're talking about a super regional come next Monday. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
That's Mike Bianco, head baseball coach at Ole Miss on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Burew. Yeah, asked him about, can you replicate an arm like they're going to see on Friday with Cole Carlin? The answer is there's probably just not many guys in the country that can replicate what they're going to see in that guy.
I mean, you want us to send Valinkas up there?
He's got, electric stuff.
Something similar. Yeah, that's very tough to it's like trying to get a Cam Newton replica in a football scrimmage. Good luck with that.
I think Friday, I'm going to call my shot here. 1st to 4 wins on Friday.
You might be right.
1st to 4, I think we'll win the game. Sports Talk Mississippi. We'll keep talking baseball when we come back.
Sports Talk Mississippi continues.
Welcome back in Sports Talk Mississippi. 601-879-4395, the C Spire text line. So, Mississippi State hosting a regional. And they didn't barely squeak in. There was some drama. I think it was... Hey, Ed, is it fair to say it was manufactured? I don't think State was ever not hosting. I know what D1 said. That's what I mean, though, is I don't think they were ever not hosting. Projections were wrong.
I think the projections were wrong, but at the same, I don't like the idea when you say was it manufactured. I don't think Kendall and the boys are like, hey, how can we get clicks? Let's say Mississippi State's not.
Yeah, just it wasn't real.
I think they have sources. It's just like anything else. I've been wrong on stuff. I have sources. I talk to people. I form the best opinion that I can, and I tell you that here on this show. Have I been wrong? Many times. Will I continue to be wrong? Probably so. Somebody was saying something to me the other day, and I was just like, God, if I could get all my predictions right, I wouldn't be here. I'd be far away from here if I could get a good run of never being wrong on sports predictions. But I just think that they talked to some people, and that's the impression that they got, and it went from there. But that said, I thought if you really looked deep at it and you looked at the metrics, and the fact that Mississippi State was as high as I think 12 in some brackets on Thursday when they played Georgia, for them to drop all the way out made zero sense to me. So I just didn't buy into that.
But Mississippi State gets a host nonetheless. Mm-hmm. Now, the only thing that matters really is the postseason.
Right.
But what is year one Brian O'Connor getting a host as the 14 seed? What's that like? What's your take on it? How did it look? How did it feel? All the above.
It's one of those things, Michael, when you're looking at this team this year, they were preseason top 5. They were, at one point they were 7-2 when they left Oxford in the conference. And you were looking at this team going, gosh, they seem to have it all. And, I think if McPherson had played the whole season, this team probably is closer to a national seed. I think he should have been worth at least a couple of wins, right? I don't necessarily know that you would have done anything with Georgia, but Friday against Tennessee could have been very helpful. I thought against Texas, having McPherson would have been really helpful. Having a full-strength McPherson would have been really helpful against Auburn and Texas A&M, so probably worth a couple of wins there. I know injuries happen, but losing your Friday night starter is a big injury. And State just struggled to find some consistency in the lineup, and some guys who were sat on the bench all year, maybe they could have made a bigger difference. You see the way Vitas Valencias was hitting the ball in the SEC tournament. He's up around 400, but he wasn't a regular contributor. Blake Vivas, when they brought him into the lineup, immediately started hitting in it, but he wasn't a regular contributor for a number of weeks. So I think it just took O'Connor a little later in the process to figure out what buttons to push and what lineups to put out there. And also it didn't help, Ace Reese wasn't as good as he was a season ago. There's no getting around that. When you have a guy like that on your team who's your All-American, you need him to be great from day one. And he had a great season. Don't get me wrong. He's all SEC. He 2020 guy. But at the same time, I think Mississippi State fans expected a little bit more from him. Now, he has started to find his way these past couple of weeks. I asked O'Connor about that. He and Sullivan, I mentioned Valencius. Parker has been, incredible this year. If somebody asked me to grade this season, I really need to see how it finishes, because the season that finishes in Omaha is an A. Right, it doesn't matter how you got there. It doesn't matter what the road is. If you're in the last 8, you're playing in the College World Series. You had a great season. But at the same time, if they were to go out here in the regional round, that would be a very disappointing season. So, still a lot of baseball left to be played for me to give a final grade on Mississippi State.
I am aware of how dumb of a question this is going to be.
Okay, great.
Is this regional being at home concerning, considering how poorly they've played at home?
No, it's not, no.
Because of opponent?
Yeah, because Mississippi State is undefeated against non-conference opponents at home. Right, they only lost 2 non-conference games this year, one against UCLA in Arlington and one at Southern Mississippi. Every other non-conference game they won. So, yeah, I feel really good about their chances in this regional.
Somebody says State has an interesting decision for Friday. Lipscomb's ace shut State down for 5 innings and had a 1-0 lead going into the 6th in Game 1 3 months ago. I don't think it's an interesting decision
I don't think it's an interesting decision at all.
Because you hold it.
You're absolutely not starting Valencas, and I don't think you're starting McPherson. I think you're going to start Duke Stone Duke Stone threw 4 perfect innings against Lipscomb earlier this year. You're absolutely throwing him out there and going from there. I don't think there's any decision to be made.
What decision would you make if you're Mike Bianco? I think that's an easy one, too. I think you go Rabe.
Yeah, you got to go best on best.
I think he kind of hinted at that, by the way.
You have a little advantage in that you've got a guy in Hunter Elliott who is as experienced and as talented as anybody else's number 1 is going to be. And he really is Ole Miss's number 1 just because he's the grizzled veteran at this point. So if you're Ole Miss and I can look, we got to win this first game. They're throwing a big-time arm. Let's throw Rabe at them. And then we get to come back, and our number 2 guy is Hunter Elliott. We didn't really lose anything there.
And especially because Nebraska's offense is not near as explosive as Arizona State's as well. I think that also plays into that decision. Nebraska seems like a better matchup for Elliott in Game 2 if you can get there. I don't know. Somebody says, is it possible for State's game time to change on Friday? The answer is no. Make your plans. Unless it's weather related. But
right. Well, that's why you play the early game on Friday, though.
Yeah, he said, why do host teams play the early game, especially at State, where most of your fans have to drive 2+ hours to get there?
You don't want to put yourself in a situation where first pitch is at 6, and all of a sudden there's a 2-hour rain delay, and the game's not finishing until midnight, and you're having to burn bullpen guys because you had such a long wait and your starter got cold. And then on top of that, what if you lose? And, not that I think State would lose to Lipscomb, but if
you're playing at 11 a.m. the next day.
Then you're playing at 11 a.m. after going to bed at 1 in the morning. It's just it makes a lot of sense to play the first game. There's a reason why most of the 1 seeds are doing that.
And it's only the one game, right? It'd be different if it was all weekend where it was detrimental to the fans.
They'll play the evening game on Saturday if they're in the winner's bracket and go on from there.
It does. I'm on your side. It sucks that's how it is, but in this specific instance, what's best for winning the game has to take precedent over what's best for the fans. And I hate saying that. That makes me uncomfortable to say out loud as the pro fans guy. But this is what's best for the team to win the games situation.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
I promise Brian O'Connor does not say, screw the fans here. It's just, this is what I think gives the team the best chance to win the game, so I got to do it this way.
Right.
I hate it, though. I hate it for you. Trust me, I do.
It just is what it is.
But
this is not a new thing to Mississippi State. Lamonis did it. Cohen did it. This is kind of like the whole idea of not starting your ace in Game 1 against the 4 seed. This is another way of looking at it from terms of we have to win the whole regional. It's not about winning one game. And the best way to do that is to give your team the chance to rest as much as humanly possible.
Mm-hmm. What do we know about Cincinnati so far?
Cincinnati, I know that they have an outstanding pitcher in Nathan Taylor, over 100 strikeouts on the year, 112 strikeouts to, I think, 23 walks.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, he's really, really good.
But State won't see him.
But State likely not to see him. We know that they have an outstanding hitter in Quentin Coates, 346, 28 home runs, big-time power hitter. Cincinnati is a team, is a pretty decent power-hitting team when you just look at their numbers, but they only have two guys over double digits in home runs. But one guy has 28 and the other guy has 16. And the rest of them are all around 5, 6, 7 home runs. So it's kind of spread throughout the lineup. They've got guys who have some pop, but at the same time, they have these two guys that you're really, really concerned about. With Louisiana, their numbers don't stand out to you from a pitching or hitting perspective. From a hitting perspective especially, they only hit 260 as a team. Coming out of the Sun Belt. Yeah, so you've got to think if they were to beat Cincinnati and play Mississippi State in the winner's bracket, that Valinkas would be able to control that game for you, and you can put some runs on the board there. So, from an RPI perspective, I mean, Cincinnati is, 22, and then Louisiana's in the 30s. So, these aren't bad baseball teams. They're certainly capable of coming in and making this interesting, but on paper, yeah, State's going to be a favorite to progress out of this. Regional. If
you're Cincinnati and you have the stud ace, do you just hold him?
You roll the dice? I mean, especially against a team in Louisiana, we just said they struggle at the plate. They're not a great hitting team. That's a huge risk, though. You would feel bad if he never got to pitch against Mississippi State.
Yeah.
But
I would consider it, though.
Well, State did something similar to that a long time ago in 2007 down at Florida State, where they were playing, I think, Stetson in game one, and they decided to not pitch their ace and take a chance, and it worked. And you ended up getting out of the Tallahassee Regional because your ace pitched against Florida State. So it's just a risk you have to take sometimes.
We will wrap the show up with you next, and we got another team to get to, team number 96. Can you guys believe that? We're already 96. And this is the longest offseason possible, by the way. It's an early Memorial Day and a late Labor Day. And we're still only 96 days away. Sports Talk Mississippi. We'll be back.
Hello, I'm John from the flatlands of Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi.
Every minute worth waiting for.
Super Talk Mississippi.
Playing catch-up, we got one more to get to. Team number 96 on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. We go a little bit to our west. One of the very few schools in the country that has a mascot that doesn't end in S. The Golden Hurricane of Tulsa is team number 96. They play at Skelly Field at H.A. Chapman Stadium. That really rolls off the tongue. Hey, welcome to Skelly Field at H.A. Chapman Stadium.
They just call it the Chap.
Do they really?
No, I don't.
That would be a good name, the Chap.
Welcome to the Chap.
30,000 on the nose. It's actually the smallest school in the FBS.
Is it really?
It's a tiny, tiny school.
I didn't know that.
At the University of Tulsa. Their enrollment, Hadad, for undergrads is 2,600. That is it.
I did not know that.
For Tulsa.
I never knew that.
Trey Lamb enters year 2 as head coach. Elite golfer, that Trey Lamb.
Yes,
truly.
he is.
He is an exceptional golfer. Not a great end of last season for Trey Lamb. He was at Gardner-Webb, then he went to ETSU for 1 year before getting the Tulsa job. They go 4-8 a year ago, but you guys remember, they had the win that ended it for Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State. He got booed off the field, did Mike Gundy, after a 19-12 loss to Tulsa, but otherwise not great. They opened with a win against Abilene Christian. Then they went to New Mexico and lost. They lost to Navy, beat Oklahoma State in Stillwater. Then they lost to Tulane. They lost to Memphis. They lost to ECU. They lost to Temple in overtime. They lost to Florida Atlantic before back-to-back wins against Oregon State and then at Army. That was a huge loss for Army at the time because there was kind of a can they make the playoff situation for Army last year, if I remember correctly, and that ended that.
Yeah.
And then they lost to UAB to close out the season. UAB's interim head coach, I think, got the job after that game as well.
That's Chris Mortensen's son.
Yeah.
Alex.
Baylor Haynes, the quarterback there, he's from Brentwood, Tennessee. He enters his sophomore season. He was okay last year, 59% completions.
Former Ole Miss Sigma Nu, Baylor Haynes.
Baylor Hayes.
Hey, what a name.
I mean, imagine if he played in the Big 12. You know, how great would that be?
That would have been good, yeah. Is it spelled the same? Baylor?
Yep.
Okay.
But if it were, on your kid's T-ball team, it would be like Baelaur or something crazy like that. This year they open with Oklahoma State at home, actually. Oklahoma State making the trip to Tulsa to play that game. Then they go to Sam Houston, host East Texas A&M before they go to Arkansas. So Oklahoma State and Arkansas on the schedule for Tulsa this year. Host North Texas, go to Navy, go to Rice, host Army before an off week. They go to Tulane, host Florida Atlantic and Charlotte before ending the season at UTSA. Got to be barbecue, right?
You're going to be shocked. The number one rated restaurant in the city of Tulsa, per our friends at TripAdvisor, is Nola's Creole Cock and Cocktails. It's a Cajun restaurant. It looks pretty good. Got to be honest with you. They got all the sandwiches. They got the muffaletta. They got the po' boys. They got a croque monsieur, which I'm a huge fan of. We have one place here in Starkville that serves those. But you can get gumbo. You're getting etouffee, jambalaya, shrimp and grits, red beans and rice. They got everything from the grill. They got grilled fish. That looks pretty good. Got some Mardi Gras pasta. Creole pasta sounds really good. And then for dessert, I mean, all our favorites, man. Beignets, bread pudding, a New Orleans-style fried pie.
Ooh.
Got my attention. I think it's kind of funny that we've done, 100, 99, 98, 97. So we've done 5 restaurants, none of them in the state of Louisiana, and 2 of them have been Cajun thus far.
Because everybody
loves Cajun food. So everybody loves Southern food. So, yes, in the city of Tulsa.
I can't believe it's not barbecue, though.
I was kind of surprised, to be totally honest with you. Yeah, I really did think that it would be that. I mean, the next one is the next one is a Caribbean restaurant. Top 3 restaurants in Tulsa are Creole, Caribbean, an Irish pub, pizza, and then like a normal place, and then there's a steakhouse. You got to go down to 7 before you find a barbecue place.
That's wild. Yeah. Upset of the century. Even a bigger upset than going to Oklahoma State.
Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 50.
We will be back tomorrow. We will get, we'll just do guests upon guests tomorrow. How about that? We will talk baseball thoroughly because
why not?
We got 3 teams in the regionals, 2 hosting. Absolutely. Looking forward to talking about that all week with you guys, and then something will come up at SEC meetings. Greg Sankey's actually talking right now, but
yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Oh, we'll see how that goes. Good. We'll see you tomorrow at 3. You guys have a great rest of your Memorial Day. We'll talk to you then.
SuperTalk Mississippi Media Production.